Medusa was once a priestess of Athena, sworn to chastity and sacred service. Poseidon violated her in Athena's temple. Athena, unable or unwilling to punish Poseidon, transformed Medusa into a gorgon, her hair snakes, her gaze turning men to stone. Perseus, son of Zeus and Danae, sent to kill Medusa as an impossible task. With divine tools, Athena's mirror shield, Hermes' two-winged sandals, Perseus beheads Medusa while avoiding her gaze. From Medusa's blood are born Pegasus and Chrysaor. Perseus later uses Medusa's head as a weapon. Athena ultimately places it on her aegis. In Greek myth, the gods are not moral examples. They are cosmic functions. Poseidon and Athena are not people, but forces that govern different layers of reality. What happens to Medusa does not occur because she's guilty or innocent, but because she stands at the fault line where these forces collide. Poseidon is the god of waters, but not gentle waters. He rules the sea, earthquakes, and surging invasive power that breaks boundaries. Philosophically, Poseidon represents uncontained force. What erupts, floods, penetrates, and overwhelms. When Poseidon violates Medusa, the myth is not concerned with eroticism or scandal. It is describing what happens when raw, undifferentiated power enters a space that depends on order. Athena's temple is not merely a building, it is a state of being. Athena represents measure, clarity, proportion, skill, restraint, and intelligence. Her sanctuaries are spaces where chaos is held at bay by law and reason. For a Greek audience, Poseidon's act inside Athena's temple is not primarily a sexual crime. It is a cosmic violation of domains. The sea has surged into the city. Earthquake has entered geometry. Unmeditated force has broken into the realm of form. Medusa stands at the center of this rupture. She is not punished because she is morally at fault. She is transformed because no being can remain unchanged after hosting such a collision of powers. Greek myth does not operate on guilt, it operates on consequence. When incompatible forces meet, something must give. Athena's response, therefore, is not vengeance, it is reordering. From a philosophical perspective, Athena cannot undo Poseidon's act. No god can reverse another god's domain. What Athena can do is translate the event into a form that preserves cosmic balance. Medusa becomes a gorgon not because Athena is cruel, but because Medusa can no longer belong to the realm of clear sight, human relation, and civic order. She has become saturated with something older, darker, and more absolute. Her gaze turns others to stone because she now embodies raw, unstoppable truth. Being turned to stone is not punishment. It is encountering reality so completely that movement and change stop. In Greek thought, to be alive is to change. To be turned to stone is to meet something so total that becoming ends. Medusa becomes the symbol of this frozen, absolute truth, a truth so overwhelming it leaves one stunned. This is why Athena does not destroy her. Athena does not erase forces she cannot morally approve of. She contains them. When Medusa is later integrated into the Aegis, the philosophical arc is completed. Terrifying truth is now held within wisdom rather than left loose in the world. But this can only happen after Medusa is separated from the human realm. The order of the polis cannot survive direct exposure to such power. Poseidon's violation creates the condition, Athena's punishment formalizes it. Together they articulate a Greek truth that is uncomfortable but consistent. When divine forces collide, mortals or semi-mortals become thresholds. Medusa is not condemned, she is reassigned. She becomes the guardian of limits, the one who marks where humans must not go unprepared. Her monstrosity is not moral degradation, it is ontological relocation. She moves from the world of shared sight into the world of absolute vision. Philosophically, the story says this: wild, uncontrolled power breaks order and cannot exist inside society. Wisdom therefore keeps it at the boundary where it can be controlled without destroying what it protects. That is why Medusa is not erased, but exalted as an image. That is why Athena wears her rather than hiding her, and that is why Perseus must approach her indirectly, with reflection and restraint. Medusa is the cost of maintaining a world where humans can live, think and build, and the Greeks do not pretend that that cost is gentle. Read symbolically, Medusa's story can describe a violent awakening. Poseidon represents a sudden, overwhelming force, emotion, trauma, instinct, libido, chaos, the sea of the unconscious. The violation represents an awakening that happens without consent or preparation. Something is unleashed too fast, too strongly, without structure. In modern terms, a raw surge of energy, awareness or power erupts before the person is ready to hold it. After such an awakening, Medusa becomes dangerous to herself and others. Her gaze freezes and overwhelms. She cannot live among humans anymore. Symbolically, this reflects a psychological truth the Greeks understood well. Uncontained awakening is destabilizing insight without grounding that can paralyze rather than liberate. Power without structure becomes destructive. Athena's role is reason, wisdom, and containment. She represents logos, strategy, measured intelligence, and ethical structure. She does not suppress Medusa's power. She does not deny it. She contains it. Awakened power must be held by wisdom, otherwise it harms rather than protects. Athena turns Medusa's raw force into a boundary weapon, a protective symbol, something used only when necessary. This is why Medusa's image belongs on a shield, not a sword. It defends, warns, and repels chaos. The deeper Greek lesson is precise. Awakening is not bad, but awakening without wisdom is catastrophic. Some truths are so real that facing them directly would destroy us. Wisdom keeps them at a distance, shapes them, and lets us live with them without turning to stone. Athena is mediation. Medusa is raw force. Poseidon is eruption. When Medusa is finally killed, two beings are born from her severed head, Pegasus and Chrysaor. This is not accidental. In Greek myth, nothing like this is random. Medusa's death releases what was trapped inside her. While alive, her power was frozen, dangerous, and unlivable. Only when separated from embodied life does something creative emerge. This reflects a Greek idea. Extreme power cannot be productive while embodied. It must be transformed. That is, power that remains embodied as raw force is sterile or destructive. Power becomes productive only when translated into form, symbol, structure, or ritual. They emerge from the severed head because the head symbolizes consciousness, perception, truth, and gaze. Once Medusa's gaze no longer freezes the world, what was locked inside her perception is freed. Greek logic is exact. Once raw truth is no longer directly lethal, it can give birth to wisdom and strength. What overwhelms at first may later become the highest gift, but only after transformation. The Greeks are not glorifying violence. They are saying something harder. Some forces are too intense to live inside a human body or psyche, yet they are not meaningless. When transformed, they become the source of inspiration and power. Medusa does not end in death. She ends in generation. From Medusa's unbearable truth emerge Pegasus and Chrysaor, inspiration and strength, showing that even in the most terrifying power, once transformed, can give rise to what elevates and empowers humanity.